Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine and are taking care of yourselves. My name is Kanika Tandon and I am here with the video of class 6th English 2nd. In our last video we have completed the explanation part of the chapter 8 Monday morning, and today we are going to start the question answers of that chapter. Starting with the in-text question, which is on page number 109. There are only two in-text questions. So coming on to the first one, why do you think Tom was miserable? So Tom was miserable because it was a Monday morning. He always felt like this on Monday because they began another week of trouble of going to school. Second is, which alignments did he consider using as an excuse? So we have to write what type of excuses did he used to make. So first one was, Tom considered alignments like colicky symptom at first. That means he used to say that he had a problem in his pain in the stomach. Then he dismissed the idea and found that one of his teeth was loose, but this did not serve his purpose either. Later he remembered that the doctor had mentioned disease that could make someone lose a finger, and hence he started to groan about his aching tooth. With this, the in-text questions are over, and let us come on to the quick answers, which is on page number 110, 11. In making connections, quick answers, we have to give the reason of the following questions. First one is, Monday mornings were practically difficult for Tom. So Tom did not like Monday mornings because Monday mornings brought another weeks of slow suffering in school. Second is, Tom canvassed his system. So Tom desperately wanted to fall ill, so he would have to go to school. This was why he canvassed his system. Next is, Tom shook Sid. So Tom had hoped that his groans would wake Sid, but when they didn't, he had no choice but to shake Sid awake. Next is, Aunt Polly ran up the stairs. So Aunt Polly didn't believe that Tom was ill, but still felt concerned. That was why she ran up the stairs. Next is, Tom's groans sounded very real. So Tom had managed to convince himself that he was ill. So good was his pretension. This was why his groans sounded real. So coming on to the rest, next question is the bookwork, which I'll give in the exercise part. Come on to the reference to context. Third, I forgive everybody, Sid. Tell them so, Sid. And Sid, you give my cat with one eye to that new girl that has come in the town and tell her. So this was his extract. Question number 1 is, who said this? How was Sid related to the speaker? Okay, so this was said by Tom because he was dying, right? So Tom said this. Sid was his brother. What was question number B? What was wrong with the speaker? Why was the speaker groaning? So actually there was nothing wrong with Tom. He was groaning to convince his aunt that he was unwell because he did not wish to go to school. Why did you think the speaker was asking Sid to give away his or her belongings? So Tom was pretending that he was seriously ill and going to die. He was giving Sid instructions and that all his belongings could be given away to make his act more convincing. Next is question number 4. The old lady sank down into the chair and laughed a little, then cried a little, then did both together. This made her feel better. Okay, so question number 1 is, who was the old lady? How was she related to Tom? So the old lady was Aunt Polly, and she was Tom's aunt. Why was she laughing and crying at the same time? So she cried a little because she was worried, thinking that Tom was really ill. She laughed a little because she felt relieved that Tom had not been pretending to be ill and was not really so. Next is, what was she upset about? So she was upset with Tom, who always played pranks to shock her. Moreover, she had run upstairs and that had left her breathless. Coming on to the read, reflect, and write. Question number 5. Why did Tom not like Monday mornings? So, Tom did not like Monday mornings because come Monday, another week of school would start and he hated going to the school. Next is, what did Sid tell Aunt Polly about Tom? So, Tom began to groan, faking an illness so that he would not have to go to school. Sid panicked on hearing Tom's groans and ran out to call Aunt Polly and told her about his pain. How did Aunt Polly feel when she saw Tom groaning? So at first, Aunt Polly panicked and felt scared on finding Tom groaning, but soon she started laughing when she realized Tom was pretending to be sick. He was using his aching toe as an excuse to get out of going to the school. Next is, do you think Tom did the right thing by pretending to be sick? Justify your answer. So it was not the right thing to do for Tom to act sick. It is not correct to trick people like this. Tom was in habit of playing pranks on his aunt, brother and friends and deceiving them. Nobody would believe him even if he was truly sick the next time. Tom's acting was almost real and it got the family genuinely worried. Next is, do you think that Aunt Polly cared for Tom? Give reasons for your answer. Of course she did. Yes, Aunt Polly really cared for Tom because she trusted him and was taken in by his pranks over and over again. Tom mostly played strange tricks on Aunt Polly, and she could never see through Tom's tricks initially because of her love and concern for him. She came running upstairs when Sid told her that Tom was dying, even though this made her breathless, for she was not a young woman. With this, the answers of this chapter is over, and you can write these in your copies. I'll see you all in my next video with the exercise part of this chapter and also the explanation part of the next chapter, which is chapter number 9, Dusk.